Have you had experiences that have caused you to feel deeply unsafe and thereby hide your truth away? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of A Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the hidden. Heather Feather has been having several experiences in the past month or two regarding all the things that I hide away, and it was flushed up for me in therapy today. Part of the reason I do this, and it stems from feeling unsafe to share my truth. You know, when I was growing up in Texas, it's my experience for decades, and there are beings that have a different experience than this, but as a general rule, anytime it came to sexual connection with a man, if you wanted to discuss at all whether we were going to be monogamous, polyamorous, what is the nature of this connection? Are we just trying to have fun, or are we wanting this to deepen? Any type of conversation that a woman would try to dip into regarding getting clarity on what it is we're trying to do exactly in the bedroom, what is the aim here, would be danced around as if I was trying to marry every man that I ever wanted to sleep with in this life, which is kind of arrogant if you think about it. It's like, just because I am somebody that doesn't prefer to have higher exposure to the potentiality of STDs by you sleeping around with others when you sleep with me, just because I'm somebody that likes somebody to focus up in the bedroom on the lover that they have instead of thinking of that lover they had 4 days ago, doesn't mean that I necessarily want to lock it down with you. Like, I would need to get to know more about a person before I determine if I want to spend my entire life with them. But I was talking to my therapist today about how, as I've aged, I found that men in an older state are more capable of being vulnerable and communicating around this piece. They're not as threatened by me wanting to be clear of, like, are you just wanting to fool around, or do you have any intent? Do you seek relationship in this life? What are you actually seeking? Can you please be clear about your aims before I decide if I share my body with you? I found older men more willing to do that, more able to do that. And it's strange because I've gotten to a place to where I've become so conditioned to feeling unsafe to ask questions. I've gotten to this place where it's like, better not ask any questions, because that's going to create a whole kind of situation of reactivism from this person that I don't want to have to deal with. And I think there are a lot of experiences we can have in this life that the air of communication would have helped to clarify before we jumped into a fire in the bedroom, right? And so what I'm learning lately is about how much I hide or do not express or do not communicate, and how that affects the relationship moving forward as well. It's like I've almost put the onus on the other person sharing their truth. You tell me what your truth is, and then I'll deal with it however I need to deal with it. But I have a truth too, and it's been tricky for me because, as I've told many beings, I don't identify with the word need. So my therapist today was like, well, if all the oxygen started to leave this room, we would need to go open the door to see if we could get more oxygen out of the room. And I let him know, no, we would want to go open the door because we would want to stay alive, but we don't need to stay alive, because whether we did that or not, we're going to die. Like death coming like a freight train. Just because you want to eat to stay alive doesn't mean you are going to stay alive. You will still eventually die. So I don't see need as being a truth, because it is a desire to remain in a specific state of being that you ultimately will not get to maintain anyhow. And he was pointing me to kind of ways I may be gaslighting myself. Do you ever do this? Do you gaslight yourself? Heather is constantly like, you don't have any needs, you know? And he was like, what if you're really, really hungry? You know, you don't feel like you need to go get some food? And it's like, well, no, I can starve to death and die. It's an option. But I think what I didn't realize is that I've spent so much of my life not wanting to be alive, that now that I want to be alive, now that I've chosen life, now that I've recognized my purpose, now that I've decided to fulfill it and to pour my energy into it, my life is blooming wonderfully towards life, towards health, towards wellness. Even though there's all kinds of weirdness sent my way, I'm well blessed because I've made the decision to be alive today. But he was helping me to see that because I have chosen a destiny in which I have several decades in which I remain on earth, that in order for me to fulfill that destiny, I would need to make sure I eat. I would need to make sure I have oxygen in the room. I would need to stop gaslighting myself about what it is I might want to express before I come into union with someone, what it is I might want to say, and to allow that to be something that can be a need for me to experience the life I want to live each day. I don't want any kind of XYZ partner in a lifetime. And I'm very clear. There's no human on the earth that I just want to fool around for sexual titillation with ever again for the remainder of my days. Life has changed. It's subject to change. But I do not envision a moment in which Heather is looking to have sex just to have fun with somebody that I don't get to know the mind, the heart, the spirit of. I think the greatest relationship a person can have is with a best friend. I think the greatest lover a person can know is to have them be their best friend, to be just as titillated. I am sapiosexual by their mind, and just as titillated, I'm also demisexual by their heart and emotions and emotional intelligence, as you are by their body, or their being. So it's like, to me, I'm very clear on what it is I do seek. I do seek union for a lifetime. And outside of that, I'm not really interested in fooling around. I'm not the girl. I'm not the one for that. You go ahead, enjoy. There's 8.3 plus billion people on the planet. Find whoever you like. But it's not me if that's what you're seeking. But it helps if I'm able to articulate and shine light on the hidden within me before I choose to have communion or come into union with another person again in this lifetime. And to be clear about my dreams, my vision. A lot of people my age, a lot of men my age are like, well, too late to have kids. And having a family has been a vision of mine my entire life. And that's kind of a turnoff, frankly. You know what I mean? That's a turnoff to me. And so it's like, that's fine if that's your truth. But it's important that I be able to articulate mine. Now, being 50, the mathematical probability of me giving birth to a child in this life is relatively low. But I know what I enjoy and what stimulates me. And if I'm not able to articulate it, I'm asking a potential lover or a potential partner to play a guessing game with me. And I'm a teacher of, don't play a guessing game. Speak up. But what Spirit has been shining light on in me for the past month or two is how much I hide because I'm often not well received. Now, my dharma is illumination, and the shadow loves to hide, and the ego loves to hide all the things that it denies. So my frequency is an intense one to be in. If you're committed to having your ego run your life, if you're committed to hiding your shadow, I'm not going to be a comfortable person in the river of your life because my presence is going to shine light on the hidden in you. And there are those that are ready to do the work and that quite enjoy my company because I'm able to shine light on what's been swept under the rug, that we might smooth out our rugs and get all this dust out of our house. You know what I mean? But I'm recognizing how hidden I am. I just had a dear friend of mine articulate that there are ways that they don't know me. And it's like, I feel like I'm an open book. I do. It's like, you can ask me any question you want, but what I haven't been recognizing is that I'm often asking others questions, shining light into their building, shining light into their being. And people don't often think to ask questions back. And so I just leave that. I don't share myself if I'm not asked. And in that regard, much of me often in relationships remains hidden because most people are not interrogating me the way I'm interrogating them to get to know them. Like most people know I'm a safe space because I practice agape and unconditional love. And as I dig in, I've had many people have a lot of emotional response and recognize they're in a safe space with me. And I may be very well in a safe space with them, but I'm keeping all of this stuff hidden because I'm no longer sharing, that reminds me of this or that reminds me. I'm just listening. I'm just taking people in. Are you hidden? Are you hiding your truth? Are you unwilling to share it? Do you articulate what you desire, what you seek when it comes to partnership or union or lovers? I'm not in a space to do that right now, but it's like, guarantee you, if I ever choose to go into partnership again, I'm going to be having a conversation first so that Heather is able to express her needs, her desires, her wants, and to shine light on the hidden parts of her being around her fears. Here's what scares me. Here's what I'm terrified of as well. You know what I mean? I'm willing to illuminate the self, but part of that is recognizing that you may need to speak up. You may need to use your voice to have yourself shared in this realm. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Heather Feather always loves your thoughts. Amun.